Hey, what's up you guys? So I have just spent the past month and a half here in Albania, and today we are going to be talking about all the things that I wish I knew before I came here. Because they probably would have saved me a lot of trouble in learning them along the way. But I mean, that's what I'm here to do, right? It's all about the experience and to learn. So we are going to dive right into it and talk about the thing that you're going to need as soon as you get here, which is going to be money. So unlike most of Western Europe, you can't just use cards anywhere here. You're going to need cash. The only place that I have been able to use a card every single time has been the Spar Market, probably the most chain type grocery store in Central Europe. So unless you specifically see on like a Google review that they take card, I would always just bring cash just in case. And to avoid super high ATM fees, always go to a credit bank. They do not charge an extra fee to take out cash there, so I highly recommend always seeking out one of those. I think when I used the OTP bank, it charged me like $7 because like my bank charges me and then their bank charges me, so just try to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, so number two, we're going to talk about foods because there is so much good food to try in Albania. Here are all of my personal recommendations and things that I like the best. The fruit here is absolutely insane. I have never tasted fruit so fresh in my life. I mean, I'm from the United States, so basically anywhere has better fruit than us, but this was just like mind-blowing. I spent my first 3 days like only eating fruit. It was crazy good and it's so cheap. You can go to a local produce market and get so much fruit. Like this was how much I got. This is like my first shop. It was less than $10. Amazing. Everything tastes so sweet and real and like not covered in chemicals. Maybe that's just a US thing that I'm so blown away by, but definitely have some fruit for breakfast. Now, as far as the national dish, tavakosi, you absolutely have to try that, and the best place to get that would be in like the mountains. I went to Kruja, and it was a cute little mountain town, and having the tavakosi there, tavkosi, I think I said it wrong, whatever. Oh my god. The lamb, it just melts like butter. It's insane. Definitely have meat when you go like to the mountains, and when you are going towards the sea, like in Durrës or Kishmil or somewhere like on the coast, I would highly recommend either salmon or I had some of the best mussels I ever had in my life for like $4.50. But make sure if you're by the sea, you're getting seafood, and if you're in the mountains, you're getting like goat, lamb, veal, food like that. And what I did before I would go out to eat is just check the reviews on Google reviews. Usually people will be pretty accurate with that, and you'll know if you're gonna get good food or not. Next, we're gonna talk about transportation. There is public transportation. It just might not be the most reliable transportation, but you can get pretty much to any major city in the country relatively cheap. But I'm a little bougie and don't like taking overcrowded buses. I don't know if they're overcrowded, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't take it. I've just heard a lot and people are like, why are you not using the public transportation? Because you should be, save money. But I don't mind hiring a driver if it's costing me like less than 50 euros to go from city to city. I think that's pretty reasonable considering in the United States we pay a lot to use like Uber. It would cost me like $150 to go like an hour away, and that's just too much. But here I went from the capital, Tirana, to Durrës for like $25, and I had a private ride door to door. That was amazing. So you're always going to have the opportunity to hire a private driver or a taxi, but if you want to save money, there is plenty of public transportation everywhere in the city, and all the way down to the bottom of the city and all the way up to the top towards Montenegro. And if you're looking for a bus stop and can't find one, just ask the locals. If you both can't understand each other, Google Translate goes a long way. If you're coming from the airport to the middle of Tirana, it shouldn't really cost more than $15 US, and to go back, it really shouldn't cost more than 20. You could check out the app UPS Taxi on like the Google Play Store, and it's kind of like Uber. Okay, now this next one is for people on a budget. If you don't care about spending money, then you can just skip on to the next one. But if you're a budget traveler like me, this one might come in handy. Sometimes you're going to walk into a store or a bar or a restaurant and people will offer you a souvenir or food or drink, and there won't be like a set price on any menu that you can like physically see. That is a great way for people to overcharge tourists. Now obviously if you're speaking English, you might even already get handed a menu where the prices are higher than it would be in Albanian, which sometimes we just have to deal with that being foreigners. But it's much better to go into a place where you can see the prices firsthand as opposed to they can just make up whatever price they want based off of where they find out you're from, how you're talking, what you look like, how you're dressed. So I would just be careful with things like that. I walked into a bar once and like I was like, oh, like, can I see your menu? And he was like, oh, no menu, like what kind of cocktail would you like? And I was like, no thank you, like have a nice day, because well, it could be like a 15-euro cocktail. I fell for that once back around Christmas time at a Christmas market. I paid $13 US for a vodka Red Bull, which is fine in New York, but not in Albania. Okay, next is going to be my alcohol recommendations. You have to try homemade raki. It is the national drink of Albania, and it is very strong and very unique and very good. And it's just an experience that you have to try when you come here. Now, don't go into a supermarket assuming that you're gonna get a 500 lek bottle of raki and it's going to be actual raki. You know, it's like mass-produced, commercialized raki, and it's not gonna taste anything like the actual stuff. So go to an authentic Albanian restaurant and get something there. Hopefully you'll have a good server that will talk to you about it and you will just have a great experience. You definitely have to try it though if you're here. Okay, next we're gonna talk about the stray dogs. There are stray dogs all over Albania, and I wasn't very used to it because I'm not from a country that has many stray dogs. Like if you see one, it's kind of like, oh wow, I wonder who that dog belongs to. But here they are everywhere, and they're not treated very well by some of the locals. I have seen people hit dogs and like yell at them and like shoo them away like really aggressively, and it's just like, it's a little, I don't know, I don't treat animals like that, but it's not what, this is not what I grew up with. I'm not like judging, it's just like, it was a little shocking to me, so just be aware of that. And I wouldn't go up and pet or feed any stray animals, because you really don't know if the last person that they interacted with was really mean to them. They might just look at you as another human and could bite you. I've never been attacked or ever felt threatened even by a stray dog here, but I've heard a lot of stories from people who have, because I was making cute noises to them. People were like, don't do that. That is, you just don't interact with them. So I'm gonna take the local advice and say, even though they're super cute, don't befriend all the stray dogs. All right, number 7 is we are going to talk about data, because you're probably gonna want data walking around the city. I've come to see that most restaurants have Wi-Fi, but they don't always like list it, and it's always locked, so it's like always like a struggle of getting the Wi-Fi password. It's just better to have data. Now, if you have the Verizon $10 a day plan and you're spending $300 a month for international data, I'm sure you'll be fine. But instead of doing that, you can go into a Vodafone, and it literally takes 5-10 minutes tops to talk to somebody and get a SIM card. I got one with like 18 gigs of data for $16 for the month. Like, that's better than anything in any other country I've been to. That's amazing. And it was good data, like it wasn't like low speed data, and it lasted me the entire month. I think I still had some by the end of the month, and you just have to renew it after 30 days. But I think spending $16 on a month worth of data is a lot better than spending $20 for 2 days worth of data with Verizon. That's just such a scam. But also keep in mind, if you are traveling in like the Schengen region of Europe and then you come to Albania, you're going to need a different SIM card. I didn't realize that when I got here, and then luckily my taxi driver had like a mobile hotspot, so I was able to use the Wi-Fi on the taxi ride over, but it's not, I had to go to a Vodafone store to get my new SIM card. But it's super, super fast. The closer you are to like the downtown area, the more people speak English, so it's pretty easy. Most people come and get a SIM card, so they know what you're talking about. Okay, number 8 is don't just come to Albania and see the capital. There is so much to see in this country that I honestly wish I had time to see more. The capital is beautiful, but so is the coastline. Like the entire coast. There's so much on the coast. There's so many different cities to check out, all offering different things. And like the fact that I got to go there and spend 2 weeks in a penthouse and spent like $266, that was absolutely insane. I had a blast. And then took a taxi ride up to the mountains in Kruja and like saw everything from up there. Had some of the best meat I've ever had in my life. Went to the old bazaar. Like I got to see so much that I wouldn't have seen if I just stuck to the capital city. So make sure, even if you're not traveling to every city in Albania, just go and check out a little bit of the coast, a little bit of the mountains, and you will not be disappointed. Okay, next I'm talking about what I've heard from a lot of people on the internet before I came here, and definitely experienced once I got here, which is called the Balkan Stare. the way people look at you, basically. Like, it can be a little like what am I doing? Because I felt like I was taught in the US, like, don't stare, it's rude, but doesn't seem like that is the way here. People just like openly stare at you, and it might make you feel a little uncomfortable, but there's no like malice behind it. Like, that's just what they do. And I definitely get that as having blue hair. I maybe saw one person that had blue hair the entire month that I was here. It's very not common. I know I stick out to most people. Not in like the US, I don't think that I stick out very much, but here, definitely. Honestly, I have never for 1 second felt unsafe here in Albania. Like, people were really worried about me coming here, which I find really funny because it all came from people that had never been here, just what they hear on the media, and feel more safe here than I do in the US. I mean, I feel more safe in basically every country I've been to over the US so far. The US is the only place I've ever felt unsafe on multiple instances, but Albania is just like any other European country that I've been to. It's really safe. I don't know, it sucks that it does have such a bad like media name to it. It does have a lot of history here, but it's really interesting to learn about, and like I said, I really never felt unsafe. And my last piece of advice at number 10 would be keep in mind that everything is a lot busier on the weekends. So if you're planning on going out, getting restaurant reservations, going to a bar, walking around the lake, it's going to be a lot busier, and I mean a lot busier on the weekends, especially if it's super nice out as opposed to the rest of the week. So just plan ahead for that. Get some reservations if you want to go out to eat for brunch, and people really do like spend hours just chilling at restaurants. It's much different than in the US for me, where we would just like have a meal and then go because we have like the next thing to do. But people really just like chill and take their time here, and I really love that because it's taught me to slow down a little bit, and I think I really needed that in my life. That is all I have for you about the 10 things that I wish I knew before coming to Albania. And so this doesn't come as a shock next week. I know I've called this the Balkan series because I was planning on doing the rest of the Balkans on this trip, but I made a really spontaneous decision to fly somewhere halfway around the globe because I am cold. And I know that sounds really bad, but I mean, it's my life, and I'm going to do what makes me happy. And I knew what made me happy, and I'm gonna go and chase what makes me happy, always, because that is what I like to preach, especially to my audience. So next week you will see what new country we're gonna be in. So thank you so much for watching this short, but hopefully informative Balkan series, and I will catch y'all on the next one.